We are going to kick it off with, instead of Guess That Operator, we're going to start with some ins and outs for the new year. So what's in 2026 and out as we left 2025 behind. All right, so I'll go with the first one, and then maybe we can kind of shuffle these around. But in, fiber; out, low fat and diet driven claims. I wouldn't say out, protein, because protein is she's still going.
Yeah,
she is still going.
She's not going anywhere either. You know, because it's all like, it's funny because I feel like that diet claim is now protein specifically, because there's such a push online about how a protein heavy diet satiates you, and therefore in many ways helps you eat less or less often. So it's funny to see that kind of like diet tribe just change forms over time and get like more and more processed. So I'm personally really excited to see fiber take off. We're like a really big 5-a-day family. So you know, we wake up and we're like, what's going to be my first fruit? You know, like what's it going to be? We're snacking on peppers. We're eating a lot of beans.
Love that.
I always struggle with protein, but fiber is like at the top of the list when it comes to my grocery list.
No, yeah, that's good.
Definitely more to speak on that in a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I can touch on that too a little bit. So like when I went to the doctor like this year for my physical and everything, like he said that, you know, cholesterol is getting a little high. It's like, well, maybe I should lay out the fry lunch at work. But, you know. Anyway, basically when I was working also with a dietitian, he was like, you know, you can up your fiber intake. So in my morning smoothies, I've started to add oats, like chia seeds, like basically anything that you can think of that has fiber in it is going in there.
It's going in there.
And then just with like my normal like day to day, you know, switching white rice to something a little bit like brown rice, and then like adding
Whole
quinoa
grains.
and lentils, like all of that. No, I'm here for it.
Cam, tell us the difference between white and brown rice.
Yeah, so white rice is going to be processed. So basically the exterior like shell from like a grain of rice has been completely removed. I growing up, like I did eat brown rice every now and then, but it was something that I didn't look forward to. I will say I still eat white rice, but it's only for specific dishes. But there is something that like I was watching a TikTok where I was like, okay, how can I increase my fiber intake? There is, I'm blanking on the name of what it's called, like in Korean, but it's a blend of rice, a lentil of some kind, and that it's basically just a grain blend, and it just fortifies the rice to make it even healthier and just better for you, and it's great. Yeah, it's not plain. It has like a nuttier texture.
That's cool.
Like seasoned. It's fantastic.
That's cool.
Love
I like it.
Yes.
I love the call out of you're like, I'm not always swapping brown rice for white rice, because I feel like when I think of indulging in Chinese food, like you're making yourself feel better by getting like the chicken and broccoli, not the brown rice instead of the white rice.
Yes.
Anyway, that's what came to my mind. But speaking about Korean and Chinese, in terms of global cuisine, in this year, Kerala cuisine, southwestern state of India.
Cool.
And out is broad, unspecified global cuisine.
Yes, I'm here for this one. I think that like traveling has never been more accessible. It's never been more popular. And so now we're really seeing that come to life on menus in a way that's super exciting. I think even like pre-COVID, dare I say, you wouldn't see these like extremely nuanced call outs. You just see like, oh, Indian is growing on the menu, even as broad as like Middle Eastern flavors. And I believe that's how it's still showing up on a lot of national chain menus. But what I like about these trend reports is they're not necessarily about what's on menus now. They're about what's on people's minds. And seeing that piece translate from what people are thinking about, what they're talking about online, and seeing them come to life over years, I think is just really exciting. And I personally am all about like really big and bold flavors, and to see something like this called out, I think like could really refresh a lot of the same kind of tropes about homogenizing regions around the world.
No, yeah, that's a good point, especially about the whole like homogenizing of like regions, because like obviously it's like if we put like Asia under one umbrella, it's like no, there's like a
You can't
major
do that.
yeah, you can't, because it's like if we look at like Chinese cuisine and Chinese cooking, like even like you have like Cantonese and then you have Sichuan, like it's just you got to give credit where credit is due is what I'm trying to say, and people want to learn more too,
and
at least that's what I think.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's like that's a great call out, because even when we think about things that are like traditionally American cuisine, so I always think about barbecue and I think about like super specific call outs like this, because it would be incredibly offensive to say like, oh, just broad barbecue, and then think about Alabama barbecue versus Texas versus South Carolina, because they all bring such nuance, and so we can't homogenize that. So why would we do that to other countries and other cultures?
Yeah, try telling people in the South that all barbecue is the same. They will come for you so quickly.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
But really quickly, bringing it back to Kerala cuisine, it is defined by coconut, seafood, and like a bunch of different spices that we have been seeing grow in different formats on menus, like cardamom and curry. I'm super excited because minus the seafood part, I like all of those things. And so I know that there are already some restaurants in Manhattan that are specifying in Kerala cuisine, and they have really inventive cocktails on their menus with curry leaves. And I mean, I've been really hopping on the savory cocktail bandwagon. I do love that. I think it's so interesting. So I'm excited to see more of that. Please give me spice-filled anything. It's just more flavor.
No, that's great.
Similar but different. In this year, MSG out scrutiny about unnecessarily adding MSG to food. How do we feel?
Thank the Lord.
Yeah,
About
agree.
time. Thank God.
I think MSG has been like every chef's secret weapon that the public doesn't want to know about for ever.
Well, and it's salt.
Yeah, it's salt. And so I have gone on a deep dive about MSG personally. And so MSG got demonized in the 60s because a physician wrote a letter to a medical journal. That's how it started. It was just hey, MSG could cause, or maybe in several people has caused headaches. It wasn't a study. It was just a letter to a journal that was published and then just kind of like took off with kind of a lot of like xenophobia behind it, and the development of what people called Chinese restaurant syndrome. And so saying that eating too much MSG would cause you to go blind or give you permanent migraines. Yeah. And so they then did a bunch of studies, and the studies were totally unethical. They were injecting people with MSG. So they weren't eating it and digesting it, or they were giving them insane amounts of MSG. And so in the last 20 years, there has been a big push to undo all of this. The physician who wrote that initial letter says it is the biggest mistake of his entire life, that he has publicly apologized about it multiple times. And so now I think we're finally seeing MSG get its flowers as it should. And I think it's important to really recognize that a lot of the ways that we use MSG now in the United States are coming from Chinese cuisine and Chinese influences. But MSG is in like everything. Like there's MSG in tomatoes, MSG in Parmesan, and almost every
naturally
single
occurring
type of animal protein that we eat. Chicken, pork, beef, lamb, they all have MSG in it. So
I have a question. First of all, and then I think it's really interesting and well timed that MSG is coming back, and like we're overcoming these misperceptions of it because of the rise of all of the very specific global cuisines that we're seeing, like especially if you're tying it back to the xenophobia. Like I think it makes sense that we're getting there now. My question is, what makes MSG different than table salt?
I mean, like if you've ever, so it's funny that you mentioned that, because in my culinary science class, we did like we made different solutions of like sour, sweet, salty, umami, and it's like it's very apparent. It's like, obviously we know what salt tastes like. Yes, it tastes salty, But with MSG, is it salty? Yes, but there is that like it's like the meatiness of it. It's
the umami.
The umami, the savory, to the point where it could actually be like very overwhelming. So you just have to know how to use it, because you can tell when someone is using MSG, like if they use a little too much, because it is overbearing. Which, by the way, speaking of things that do not naturally have MSG in it, this is like the first time I've ever like truly made like a real bad mistake in the kitchen. I was cooking for a bunch of friends one day, and I was like, the night before, I was making a Basque cheesecake.
Wait, okay, so you were an adult.
Yes, I was an adult.
Your first mistake wasn't like that. I feel like that's very impressive. You know,
this was last year, December. I vividly remember this. I remember buying all the ingredients for it and everything. And I've made Basque cheesecake like a bunch of times. And I had a deli container because I remember taking some stuff home from the office. Like I had sugar. I brought some MSG from a previous project. And shame on me for not labeling anything.
Oh, no.
Because
that's the number one rule of kitchens.
Yeah, and I like to cook like in the dark, basically, because I'm a vampire. And like literally, when I'm cooking, the only light is the light that comes from the microwave, like the light that's like beaming down. Yeah, it's that.
Damn.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a me
It's like
problem.
I'm a professional chef.
Yeah, and I like cooking in the dark because it's a vibe. That's why. But yeah, I use MSG on accident. I taste the batter and I'm like, whoa, why is it really salty? I don't put two and two together because I'm like, wait, I added a Spanish cheese to this. Like it's probably just that. So I bake it. I let it cool. The next day I cut into it and I'm like, okay, it looks good. It looks correct. I took a full spoonful of it. I've never spat anything out so fast in my life.
No.
It was the most vile thing ever.
Well,
yeah.
Taking the savory and desserts to a whole
new
other
level.
level.
Yeah,
Right.
that was just, there was no way to say it. I wasted so much money.
No.
You know, Cam, I don't know if this is going to make you feel better or worse, but I made the same mistake with cookies once where I replaced the sugar with the salt, and my parents have never let me live it down. But I was 9 years old.
I've definitely done that too, but I was also around 9 years old. So.
Well, damn.
I mean, but it took you a long time. It feels like every cook will make that mistake.
Yeah.
In their life.
Never again.
Crazy
Never
that it
again.
happened to you, like post culinary school into adulthood, into having this like career with all these accolades related to it. Amazing.
Okay, well, we will give you flowers and credit where it's due for making a Basque cheesecake, Cam, because we know that over the last couple of years has definitely been trending in desserts because of its specificity in the Basque region of Spain.
The Basque region of Spain, my favorite part of Spain. I spent time there over the summer doing the Camino de Santiago, and we ate Basque cheesecake like every day.
As you should.
Probably.
As you should.
Yeah.
Those don't apply on vacation.
No,
They really don't.
I mean, especially when you're walking 25 miles a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, particularly. Okay, so for our last in versus out, in 2026, mocktails and more importantly, tea time. Out, alcohol-based happy hours. I feel like we've been talking for a while, again, kind of like the progression of this trend, but we've seen younger generations opting out of drinking alcohol for a variety of reasons. But I'm very excited by the idea of revamping tea time. It hits on everything I want. Like, give me an afternoon pick-me-up, give me tiny treats in a pretty tray.
Yes. It's just the whole aesthetic.
I'm ready. I'm even ready for tea-based cocktails.
I've had
I can
a few.
get behind that.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yes.
It's interesting because there's that phenomenon happening with Gen Z specifically that's called zebra striping, which is drinking an alcoholic beverage and then a non-alcoholic beverage and then an alcoholic.
Like flip-flopping.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when I was like a younger person, we just called that like drink a glass of water for every alcoholic beverage you
But
have.
now it has a term.
It has a term, you know.
There's got to be a term for everything.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? I'm embracing it. I'm team let's make up new words. So why not?
Okay, so speaking of new words, our final in and out here in 2026, swavery. Out, swicy. I
think we okay, like let's what you gotta like what is
okay, swavery, sweet plus savory.
Yep.
Swicy, sweet plus spicy.
Okay.
Not exactly one for one there, but we just keep smushing words together.
It's great.
And sticking it on things. I don't know. I'm just like,
it's kind of interesting because is swicy not swavery?
It is. It's just now we're I think it's really just the marketing. Sorry, go for it, Cam.
No, I was gonna say like swavery is basically just like rebranded like swalty because like savory things are inherently salty, unless maybe not. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, swavery just sounds like a dance. Like to me. That's what
I want to see
like.
Sweet and umami. Swami.
Swami. Get Chef Cam's MSG Bass Cheesecake. Be diving deep into Swami.
Dude, there was nothing sweet about it. It was just umami and salty.
That's awesome.